Hello class. This PowerPoint and this video are going to discuss the rundown for week 2. I would strongly encourage you, if you've not done so, to make sure you are watching the other two videos. One of the videos is a discussion of the rhetorical analysis assignment, and I spend some time going over, what is involved. The other video is not one that was produced by me, but I think is nonetheless really important. In that video, I discuss how to make an academic argument. So please make sure that you are watching all of the videos, as they are the primary way that I communicate what is happening in the class on a weekly basis. Now, of course, if you don't understand something, you should always feel free to email me or to send me a text message, because, of course, these videos are not all-encompassing, and I realize that in an online atmosphere, there are always issues with communication. So that is why you have multiple ways of communicating with me, and I hope that you will take advantage of those. So this week we're going to get into the textbook a bit more, specifically thinking about the way Black Americans use language, especially English. A couple of the readings are going to address this. And I think a lot of this has to do with what has gone on in recent months, but one of the things that the University of Memphis is trying to do is to promote an atmosphere of equality and trying to, make sure that a number of perspectives are addressed, and this is something that I agree with wholeheartedly. And regardless of what your race, your gender, your nationality, I think it is important to explore as many perspectives as possible. And coming to a university, coming to this college, whether you are from Memphis, whether you are from a small town in Mississippi, whether you are from Boston or Chicago, then I still think it's really important for you to see these different perspectives. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted you to use this textbook, because I usually am not a person who likes to use textbooks in their classes, as people in my English 1010 will tell you that is the case. But for me, I think this textbook has a lot of really good articles in it, and we're going to really explore them this week. So you have two articles that I would say are more about kind of these issues with Black Americans and using English and language in general. But the other reading that you are doing is going to cover how to build and make an argument. And that is really what each week is going to do, is there is going to be a balance between the different readings. One or two of the readings are likely to be about, the academic aspect of things, building an argument, using rhetoric, the way we use language, and the other will be things like talking about how Black Americans use language, getting into Memphis in future weeks as well. So there really is going to be a balance between those things. I mentioned the two other videos, so I'm not going to mention them again, except to say, watch them. Also, make sure you have purchased the textbook. If you cannot, or if there's going to be an issue, you need to let me know as soon as possible, because I did post the first 2 weeks of readings, because I know that there are always delays, but beginning in week 3, as far as I'm concerned, there are no excuses unless you tell me. Like, if you don't tell me and you come to me in week 4 and say I still don't have the textbook, then there really isn't a lot I can do. But if you come to me and say, Professor Cuson, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the book, or there is some financial issue, and I know that financial issues are a reality because of this pandemic. So don't feel embarrassed, don't feel humiliated, just be honest and tell me whatever the issues are, and we'll figure something out. Like, there is a way that we can get around this, but you have to communicate with that. You have to communicate and take up responsibility and have some accountability for yourself. So one of the assignments that you are doing for this week in the second discussion board of the semester, you are going to reflect on African American rhetorical traditions. And for this discussion post, basically what I want you to do is to answer question number 1 on 26 as your initial post. And you can read through the question on your own and see if you have any questions on it. When you respond to your classmates, please write down any important takeaways you have from the initial post and ask questions. So typically this is how it's going to work. Your initial post is going to be due on Tuesdays at 11:59, and your 2 response posts will be due by Sunday at 11:59, and that is generally how it will go. There are exceptions because of the wellness breaks and because of depending on whether we're doing a peer review or not. But in general, you will have time to complete the initial post, and then you'll have some time to read and reflect and get those response posts posted by Sunday. But generally, a lot of the questions that we are doing they will be from the textbook, and that is because I believe the questions are good and that they are useful and that they are helpful. So that's why I'm not necessarily creating my own questions. In English 1010, I tend to create my own questions. I'm using the textbook a lot for the questions this semester because I think that they are really valuable and really important to use. And it's the same for the journal entry. So for the journal entry, you will first need to read what is argument, and then in 3/4 to 1 full page, you will answer question number 1 on page 14. This journal entry must be uploaded by Thursday, January the 28th. That is typically when your journal entries will be due on Thursdays in a given week. Like I said, a lot of the questions are going to come from the textbook. Finally, the one-pager. You will first need to read African American English from the hood to the Amen corner. And I'm giving you a choice. So sometimes there are questions that I will really like, and in those specific instances, I will give you a choice. So do not answer both questions. Answer one question, either number 2 on page 405 or number 4 on page 405 to 406. The minimum is a page, but you may go up to 2 pages. Never write more than 2 pages for a one-pager assignment. Okay? That is a hard and fast rule that I go by because, again, this is meant to be kind of a one-page assignment. It is the one that you are graded most strictly on because this is where grammar counts a little bit more than the journal entries and the discussion boards. So I do want you to take this a little bit more seriously and be a little bit more precise. And as always with the one-pagers, they will be due at the end of the week on Sunday. In this case, this is how you end January 2021, by turning in the final one-pager of the semester. So that's really all I have. Again, please make sure that if you have any questions about any of the prompts, because I know some of the questions can be a little bit on the confusing side, do not hesitate to ask. Okay, but for the most part, these PowerPoints are going to be a little bit shorter than they were in 1010. Again, I think some of that has to do with the fact that you have a textbook, and another part of it is I do want to make sure that you all are a little bit more self-reliant than you were in 1010. But don't take that to mean that I'm not going to help you, because if there are questions or if something is unclear, I will happily help you and work with you to make sure that you are successful in this class. Thank you very much, and have a good week.